but promise I won't quit, keep going till I got it. I won't give up till I'm on top.
Yo, no, I ain't the type to give up. If I do something, man, I do it till I get what I want. I turn a business out of nothing into something I love. I got a poker face, but honestly, I'm not one to bluff. I flip a switch, never miss, man, I always stay up. Don't let them see you, bitch, always have a plan to stay tough. This life ahead of you ain't easy, it was built to be rough. But that's what makes a personality, is tragedy, bruh. So keep your head on your shoulders. Now we ain't out here moving rocks, we out here moving boulders. Now we ain't getting posterized, we out here making posters, and we ain't got nothing to hide.
What up, what up, what up? Let's start this again. Welcome into Pregaming here on Sports Money, Monday to Friday, where you break down the final card. We look at line movement. We look at the adjustments the books are making to where the cash is coming in. We look at trends and angles to help us try to guide us with the prevailing headwinds. We want to see what the best chat in the business is on, and try to leverage our tools, technology, and expertise to make informed betting decisions. That's what we're here to do. I know you guys are looking to do the same thing. We have had a nice week, and we want to put a bow on this thing and make just a bunch of money here so that we build up for tomorrow. Pay-per-view UFC 314 down in Miami. And then we'll have a week off of the UFC. So we're coming through on, it feels like 12. Maybe 13 straight cards. It's a lot of work. You don't realize it when you're in the throes of it, especially starting out early. You talk about it. It's like, it's going to be a long stretch. Then you get into it and it's like, holy cow. Week after week after week after week, it gets busy and building, but we've got you guys covered. We've got 2 shows out there over on the Sports Money YouTube page to check out. VBMMA and Ramon Scott busted out Tuesday. They do their 3-card analysis, 3-play analysis. Then the First Strike, fellas, Subhuman Gacho, MMA Jeff, and your boy here, Pimp Slap POD. We give you our 3 early looks to try to beat the books. And then, of course, the UFC playbook. We've got updates from the weigh-ins today. I've got the all about the finish parlay, the ATF parlay. Pays out plus 14,500. And I feel really good about that one. I'm going to be honest with you. The ATF parlay where we pick 1 fight by KO, 1 fight by decision, 1 fight by submission. Put that on the card for you guys to try to take a big banger with the UFC. We've got rugby action. The boys won their first rugby match the other day on that video. That is out there and ready for you guys to check out for the remainder of the weekend. And I might toss out a UFL play tonight. I might have my first ever UFL play for you guys here. I told you I was going to start getting involved with it. I just had to kind of pick the time and let a week go by to make sure I can understand what I'm seeing. I think this line tells us everything we need to know for tonight's plays. So we can do that as well. Last night was pretty good. I mean, we kind of split the middle here on the show. But look, on the day, we ended up just about 6 units on the day. So very solid. Just like that. Boom. We're back making all that money. It was a tough March, man. It was tough. The tournament, I'm stubborn. I want to keep banging away at the tournament, but it was so chalky. I didn't have a good tournament. So I was fine at the end. Once we got down to the Elite 8 and you can start to see what's going on there and realize that it's all chalk fest, so be it. But I'm just glad we're back in the winning seat here. And we've got NHL down to a handful of games. The NBA, this is the last weekend before the playoffs for the NBA. That means we're going to get some more action that's getting the best these teams have. No more sandbagging and sitting players when it comes down to it. So That's exciting. Major League Baseball starting to mature. We have had a tremendous week in the MLB, and I'm going to open up the card a little bit tonight. Opening her up a little bit more. Just a little bit more. Take a little peek in there to get her going. In fact, we're going to talk about the Pittsburgh-Cincinnati game that starts at 8 p.m. I'm sorry, it starts at 6:40 p.m. We'll go into Atlanta and Tampa Bay. That's a 7:05 popper. Detroit, Minnesota, I believe is 8:30. And I got a two-leg parlay. A two-leg parlay for you guys. Actually, there's two parlays on this card. This is the second one. This is two straight sides parlayed together for a nice plus 165-ish action with some nice numbers behind it to validate. We're going to go to the NHL. We'll talk Detroit and Tampa Bay. We'll talk San Jose and Edmonton, Minnesota and Calgary. It's a smaller slate in the NHL tonight. Very disappointed. Very disappointed. Shout out to Kelly V because the birthday boy got his goal and the game went over. Should have, would have, could have, didn't stay under the number, but it is what it is. And then Carolina comes all the way back just to lose in the shootout. It's terrible. But we did smash the rest of the NHL card, and that was pretty good too. So we'll see what the NHL brings us. And then two games in the NBA. We'll go to Memphis and Denver, Golden State and Portland. I think there's a couple things on the line there that we can talk about that makes sense for a betting perspective to go out there and take advantage. The UFC. I want to talk about First Strike because we do have a contest that is live for tomorrow. Watch the UFC video. At the end of the video, all you got to do is one thing. One thing. And you'll be entered or have the option to win some sports money merchandise. Free giveaway. At the very end of that, the very end, you'll see it pop up. Contest. Listen to what you have to do. Get in there and do just that. That's the way we're going to move the needle here this weekend. So lots of stuff happening. We're in the groove. Our guy, Algus, won the first ever March Madness. Let me get it right. Sports Money Madness bracket. And as soon as I haven't seen him in a couple of days in our chat here, but as soon as I do, he can DM me so we can get him hooked up with his goods. Get him hooked up with the goods. And I feel pretty good about this card. I do. I think we've got, like I said, 640 baseball. I'll tell you, man, I want to get involved with Cleveland in this under. You know, we've had a lot of success doing this now, right? We've seen how you've seen kind of the playbook here. As it gets rolled out, we're looking at taking teams like the Guardians and teasing around. This line was at 6.5, expecting Bubic and Bybee to have big days. Whoa. Bubic. Wow. I just said it and I can't say it again. With a 6.5 on the line. So we take a team like Cleveland at minus 130. We jack it up to an 8 to get ourselves a little teaser number in there, and it creates ourselves a nice little plus 155 window, or I believe was the number. Just in case that 6.5 is a little too low. So we'll show you guys, continue to show you some different formulas and strategies to bet on baseball. I did want to give out a RBI, but it does not look like my guy is playing tonight. So we're going to be selective. We've got a nice little run going. I think we're like 5-1 in our last 6 RBIs here between what I gave out on Twitter and what I shared with our members only. And I'm just looking. Just looking here. Let me do one last lineup look. I don't see him. That's all right. You know what? Maybe I'll put an RBI card together for later. We got plenty of later baseball action. And it's exciting, you guys. Here's the deal. We want to give you guys more. Those of you that give us more, we appreciate that. We love the gifted subs. We had a fun night last night. Lots of gifted subs going around. But a lot of you guys have been asking for more plays. And that's what the design of our silver and gold level packages are. Some of you guys that are looking for more plays. I don't want to call it a subscription plan, but we're just kind of giving a higher level of support to those that give us a higher level of contribution. By your request, we wanted to put this together and give you guys some plays. We're having a tremendous time smashing right now. We're going to add more to it. And, it's $5. $5 more. $5. What is that? 5 cents a day? I don't know what it is. I don't know. I can probably figure it out. Bro. You want to see how quickly I can figure that out? Maybe see if I can embarrass myself. Is that 18 cents a day? 31 goes into 5, 18, 8, 240. It's not even. It's like 14 cents a day. It's like 14 cents a day. That's how fast that math was. Whoa. Whoa. Look at that. Smoke coming out my ears. All right, enough of all of that, though. The best thing you can do to help us continue to grow this thing here is make sure you hit the thumbs up button. Comments are absolutely appreciated. We're just trying to crack this algorithm with YouTube, and the conversation, the dialogue, the support by the thumbs up. And you guys taking a second to add, you know what, if you're going to tail one of the plays, why don't we start tailing those underneath there? We'll start tailing them. We'll tally them up if you're tailing. And then at the end of the week, we'll do a giveaway there too, based on the commenters that got the wins. We'll figure it out. We'll figure out something to give you guys some more, but that stuff does truly tremendously help us. And it doesn't cost you anything but a second. And if you like something that you heard or you found a spot that you're going to play, put that in the comment section so that we can continue to grow this thing. It's a competitive marketplace. And we're coming down into we're going to be in the dog days sooner than later. So the more we can do to grow and promote the brand, the more people we can attract to the Sports Money Network, the more money we're all going to make is what it comes down to. We'll bring more sharp bettors in here. Those sharp bettors will share their sharp looks, and we'll all take those sharp plays to the window and smack the bookies over the head. What a great time to smash that thumbs up button. If you haven't done so already, close the comment section, hit that thumbs up, pop it back open, and we'll get to work. Special shout out to our silver and gold members. Much appreciated, you guys. I think we're making some money with it here. So I think we gotta have 10 or 12 dubs on the week with the afternoon plays, with the action that's been coming down the pike. Hey, how about golf? How about the PGA? If you guys did watch the golf video that we broke down, I know a lot of you did, and we really appreciate that. But we are in a position now. We've got quite a few of our guys in contention to win this damn thing. We talked about matchups last night and kind of the matchup play strategy here, but Jeff talked about Justin Rose on the video. Jeff and I both talked about Corey Connors on the video. We talked about Colin Morikawa on the video. He's out there. Shane Lowry's a guy that a lot of people had in their grab bag of goodies out there. Xander Schauffele was talked about in the video. Minwoo Lee. Every one of those guys is in the top 20 right now in the golf tournament. So very much alive to make some big bucks. We got matchup plays coming down the line here for Saturday and Sunday. We talked about strategy to get that done as well. Here's what you didn't hear in our golf video. Rory McIlroy and Scottie Scheffler. You've come to the wrong place if you're looking for the chalk. By now, I think you guys all know that. So that's the way it's going to go. That's how the cookie crumbles. Let's get to the business of getting to the business. And let's get you guys in the game here. Let's talk about the best bets you guys are on. Pull that pen and paper out because, again, the best in the business assemble here, and they're sharing their plays right here, right now. It's time to give it the rundown, and we'll start with our first commenter. It's Joe T. His assault on unders reigns no bounds. His reluctance to use anything but SPF 5 continues to make you scratch your head. But he's on the Nationals and Marlins over 8. Nationals, Marlins, great look. I concur. I endorse it. He's on the Red Sox, White Sox over 7.5 as well. He's giving you 2 plays. His best bet, and then he's giving you his second bet. He's got 2 overs for you guys. He's checking in from FLA. Shout out to Gerald Jones. My man's been running hot. Look at this. Cashed last night, the Red Wings Panthers. Thursday unders, baby. I said it last night on the live stream. I can't explain it. Can't explain it. But maybe, it doesn't even matter if they're home or away. I was going to say, maybe the explanation is the old strip club. Maybe it's because you're in Miami and you're going into a weekend that things pop off and you're fired. I don't know. I can't explain it, but I'm not going to try to fight it. I'm just going to play it and pay it. Let's go. Best bet now 34-20 for our guy Gerald Jones, and he's on the Yankees and the San Francisco Giants over 8 tonight. And the Bronx. Let's go. This has got all my coin from bracket contest today as well. Good job, dude. Good work. Joe Dub says, cheers. Redbeard says, shout out to the Pats for hitting 50-something today. All right. Let's go. Redbeard. Joe T giving some hockey overs as well. He's got the Canadian Senators first period over 1.5. We don't like that. Not that, Joe. Sorry, that was bad timing. I was not commenting on that play. I was commenting on a message that I don't know why people message me like right now in this window, but they do, and I see it, and then I comment on it. Stop Geoengineer. Oldies in the house. Trisha M is here. Look at this. She says, congrats to the Sports Money sweep yesterday. Membership upgrade paying for itself before mid-month. Anyone coming to Miami for the UFC? No. I'd love to be down there, but not me. Big Scott says, what's good, Mikey? Best bet for today from our guy, Big Scott. He's got the Nationals money line and the Giants-Yankees first 5 over 4. Shout out to Big Scott. I know we'll see him tomorrow. We're going to pop off tomorrow, probably around 5:30-ish. Maybe 5:32 or 5:33. Sometimes we get backstage early and start talking about the fight card and forget to hit the go live button because we love our fight cards. There is a PFL fight card tonight as well. I know Jeff did share a best bet for that first fight tonight. Alora Dana. That's at 9 p.m. PFL plus 110. Widely available. Now, Diana Asberagova, small favorite. Easy on the eyes. It's Joseph Alvarado says Sports Money for Life. I didn't cap it. I was just telling you what I saw. I used my own 2 eyeballs. But Jeff's on Elora Dana at plus 110. There's a little extra action for you guys. Joseph Alvarado says Sports Money for Life. Peter Gracia says, sup, Mikey? Birthday dinner for me, but I'm listening. Hey, man, happy birthday. Happy birthday, Peter. Oh, man. I hope you get yourself a nice ribeye for dinner or whatever flavor you prefer, whatever type of red meat you enjoy eating. But that's awesome, man. Happy birthday. Happy birthday from the Sports Money family to you and your family. Happy birthday, my friend. Enjoy that steak. I don't know if you're getting steak. I'm saying steak. Maybe you like pizza. I don't know. Steak seems like a birthday dinner thing to me, like a little steak seafood tower. Get the seafood tower. Splurge on yourself, man. You deserve it. Unless you don't like seafood, then get yourself a nice dessert. You know what? You got to take time. I'm not a desserts guy. I'm not a sweets guy, but man, it's your birthday. You can have a little piece of cake. You deserved it. It's no big deal. If you like cheesecake, want cupcake, doesn't matter, man. Go get it. Happy birthday to you, Pete. Trisha M says, congrats on the cash. Joe T. Last night in Florida says, leave super early to the frozen tundra. Nathan Cerna says, intersecting zeros. We got him? I think I got him tonight. I think I got one. Fernando Mendoza. Brewers recall Jose Quintana. And he's pitching today. That would be why the Brewers had a big blank space on their pitching rotation. Yeah, there he is. Eduardo Rodriguez v. Jose Quintana. Justin McCalvey says Sports Money is money. There's our guy Coin. Says KC and Cleveland already underway. 6 p.m. 0-0. 0-0. Man, my DraftKings has been super slow, super lag. Let's go. Keith's here, our guy from Each Every Stride. Make sure you check out his video that he's got out there for horse racing. He likes the Twins in the under 8. Says good luck tonight. Let's go. Cerna. Time to go. Time to get into work here, right? Fernando Mendoza says there's a lot of money, 14 cents. Chris Commentini says no cruise for the Pirates. That's important to know. It's free to comment and like, says KV, the #1 commenter. I'll tell you what, even if she stopped commenting today, you guys will never catch up to Kelly V. Her commitment and perseverance to smashing that like button and even throwing comments out there literally is second to none. It's much appreciated, Kelly V. And I give you a shout out. Your Nashville spot went over last night, and your birthday boy scored. Good look there. And she's got some more for you guys here. Sharon Pulliam's in the house. Kelly V says Skinner. 2 points away from 700. And Oldies on that Marlins under as well. Caught the 8.5 with a little juice. And Trish M saying over under. Stop Gills. Shout out the UFC playbook. Man, we do have we've been committed to that thing. It's been, some weeks it's easier than others. But I hope you guys do leverage that. At least look at it. At least look at the notes. We try to talk about fighters that miss weight. We try to talk about aspects of how the game should go, how they fight. If they want to move, if they're move forward people or they're more defensive oriented, you'll see some of our props, our plays. You'll see the parlays, the PPPs, the props, plays, and parlays, all in the playbook as well. So prop, plays, parlays, playbook. How about that? Let's go. Pete likes the Boston and Yankees overs. Chris Commentini says, like the Red Rays parlay. Tom McIntyre's in the house. He's not been around, pimp, in the hospital with pneumonia. And oh man, I hope you stay well, my friend. Thank you for checking in with us. We were certainly keeping you in our best wishes, and we hate to hear our soldiers are down. So get better, get rested. Take a couple days off, man. Kick your feet up. Enjoy the time that we have here together. Respect to you, Tom McIntyre. Thank you for checking in, my dude. Joseph Alvarado goes with the filet. Nathan Cerna needs the Tampa Bay Rays to take care of business. Pimp Slapper. Look at you guys, man. Lots of comments here. Love to see these. All right, let's go. I got to get to Peterson's Surf and Turf. Yeah, man. Surf and turf. Crab legs, lobster tails. I'm not a fish guy. I'm not a salmon. I don't like really any kind of fish. I'll eat some bass. I mean, if it's prepared by a 5-star chef, I'll eat it. But it's not my favorite. But if it's got a shell on it, fire that thing down, man. Let's go. Big line movement in the Cavs game to plus 7.5 early on, seeing plus 2.5 across the board now. So stop geoengineering. Certainly loves the zeros. Daddy Beats is here. Gerald Jones is adding Detroit's team total over 3.5, minus 130. There's Tarek B. He's excited for the UFC. Man, you guys are fired up. Love to see it. Gerald Jones, it looks like he's got, is that a Tigers team total over? Damon Warren says, good evening. Oh, let's go. Redbeard's got a little parlay action out there. Nerfies, a little Nerfy parlay. Nats, Red Sox, Tigers, Angels, and Phillies. Nerfies. Well, that's a sweaty one. That's a sweaty 30. 6 innings times 5 games is 30 innings. It's a sweaty 30, my man. I'll be rooting for you, Redbeard. Good luck. Let's go. Yes, best wishes to our man. Stop Geo says, put you onto some walleye, Mikey. You'll be having fish every Friday, my guy. I remember as a kid, we would do we'd go out for the fish fry Fridays, but I would never get the fish fry. It always looked good. Couldn't really stand the smell, but it's not my thing. It's not my bag, baby. Okay. Now that you guys we're all caught up here, I better fire on this game here. I took the under in this Pittsburgh-Cincinnati game. Jesus. I love the comments, man. I would rather talk about the plays. I'd rather just sit here and read the plays you guys are on than give you guys any other side. But look, I do some research too. We've been doing okay, so I'll take it and run with it. Right now, we've got 83% of the bets, but 97% of the cash banging away on these Reds. It's moved 7 cents. The total has not moved, with 86% of the bets and 87% of the cash on the over. It has not moved a budge from the 8. It's faltered with an 8.1 ERA, 0-1 on the season for the Pirates, and Singer popping off for the Reds with a 2.25 ERA and a 2-0 start to his season. The team has been performing well for the young buck. And I like Cincinnati quite a bit in this game. I mean, look, overall, between these two teams, Falter's flatlining. He doesn't ever really play well against this Cincinnati Reds team either. And, he's in a hitter's ballpark in Great American Ballpark. So, does kind of provide a little bit of concern here, but I'm going to focus on, you guys talked about it in the chat, the O'Neal Cruz factor. Man, look at these. Isolate some games aside. The last game the Reds played at San Francisco, they scored 6 runs. They scored 5 runs the 3 games before that. All on the road. They're coming back home. And I expect there to be some fatigue. Now, they did have a day off yesterday, but they're just not bashing the ball the way they used to. Now, last year, we were so enamored with the Ellie De La Cruz and the stolen bases, and now we had the bats controversy going on out there as well. I think one of the components out here is the oblique that Tyler Stevenson has faced out there. That guy can certainly go yardstick if he needs to. Collectively, though, I think this is just a pitcher's battle. I don't even want to say a pitcher's battle. I think Cincinnati gets the falter. I just don't think Pittsburgh can hold up on their end of the bargain here. Their last 2 games, they scored 2 runs against St. Louis. They lost 5-3 the game before that to St. Louis. So we're kind of at that point now where the excitement of the new season has fallen by the wayside just a little bit. And we're kind of getting down into the nitty gritty now that we're in the middle of April on the season with a couple of weeks under our belts here. And we're starting to see these teams some of them popped early and they're going to regress. And I think that's this Pirates team here. Falters, walks, and hits per inning pitched is 1.5. Cincinnati should clean up this game. They should handle their business, but collectively, I can't get there with this Pirates team doing anything here. Reds in the game 1 of a series are 35-21. Home favorites to the unders are 30, 14, and 5. Some big numbers there suggesting it is the Reds and it is the under. I'm going to ride that 30, 14, and 5. That's a 66%er plus on the home favorites under spot there. Not mad at anybody that wants to consider the Pirates team total under. I looked at that one long and hard. It's about a -120 for the under 3.5. Probably get away with the under 8, the Cincinnati Reds, and the Pirates team total under 3.5 and have yourself a nice little same game parlay. But that's how I'm going to pop the card. Here, we're going to pop the top. Looking at this Cincinnati Pittsburgh under 8. We'll move on to get excited. Again, both those teams are 5-8 too. Probably a key component that I missed to talk about there. Mediocrity reigns in that probably this whole series. And don't fall in love with the Paul Skeens stuff. It's going to be a sophomore season. We saw him get touched up the other day. By the way, Justin Steele, we saw him get touched up the other day. He is now on the IL list as well. You guys have one big year, and then everybody gets tape on him, and that's what's going to happen to Paul Skeens as well this year. But tonight, we're going to take the under 8 in this thing here. We'll move on to the Atlanta-Tampa Bay series out here. We started with baseball because of that 6:40 start, 6:40 or 6:45 start. Atlanta and Tampa Bay. Now, we saw Atlanta played that game yesterday against the Phillies. We caught the win. It was the 7 p.m. start, and it ended up being the last game to finish on the card, I think. They had that massive rain delay, and now they travel. After finishing a game past midnight, they travel not too far to get to Tampa Bay, probably, 45-minute plane ride, maybe an hour, tops, right? As soon as the plane gets to cruising altitude, they're binging the bell telling you to sit down because they're going to come for landing. But they still get home late. They still get to the hotels late. That means they got to get up. Maybe they even have optional batting practice today. But I'll tell you, they're expecting runs. This line opened at 8. It's gone to 9. 89% of the bets and 89% of the cash have hit this over. It's moved up a full run. And a lot of cash coming in here on the Rays. Enough to move it as well. -112 has moved 22 cents to -134. You have 59% of the bets and 60% of the cash coming in here. It's Elder and Bradley. Taj Bradley, 4.91 ERA. Bryce Elder, 6.75 ERA. Excuse me. Hitter-friendly ballpark is George Steinbrenner Field. We know the Tampa Bay ballpark is under renovation. It's a dump, and they're going to try to fix it up. Put lipstick on it. It's still going to be a pig, but they're going to play in a smaller field. Smaller field that measures the porch line of Yankee Stadium. Why is that significant? Because we should see some runs. Both these pitchers are more than capable of getting touched up, for sure. The Rays, they're putting their 3 or 4 a pop in there. Now, that last game against the Angels yesterday was disgusting. I'm still mad at myself for not giving that out to you guys I was all over that spot too. And 11-1, it's like, man, what happened? How did I miss that? But I missed it. But I'll tell you this. The over was my initial look. It's now moved. So I had to get creative. I had to think, how are we going to play this? Now that we know that this over is moved, I'm I think Elder gets fucking smashed either way. I'm not concerned about him. I'm just wondering how much Taj Bradley bounces back in this situation out here. We do have intersecting zeros. Ask and thou shalt receive. Bryce Elder's 8-0 to the over when he's not a favorite of minus 220 or higher and allowed fewer than 7 hits. And he's losing those games by 3.6 runs per pop. And we look at the Tampa Bay side of things. When they're a home favorite of less than minus 185, after allowing 2 or more home runs as a favorite, they're 13-0 to the over. Things get going, they just stay going. And that margin of victory is 3.6 runs to the over as well. So, yeah, I mentioned it, right? Kind of the performances that we've been seeing out there. Elder, last year wasn't very good, was 6.52, a 1.63 whip. Hasn't started this season any better. 3 runs allowed in 4 innings. So the guy's averaging almost a run an inning out there. I think this is a great Tampa Bay spot. On the other side of things, too, Taj Bradley didn't have his finest start. Gave up 4 runs in 5 innings that last time around. 4 walks, 2 homers, just struggling with some of that consistency early, and that led to a 4.11 ERA last year. 5.59 ERA the season before that. Runs should be galore in this game. That's why this line's moved that whole point or whole run. I just don't know that the value's. I mean, I still think there's value there. Don't get me wrong. The 9 is a key number in baseball, and you have the option to really push it if it gets to that 9. But we will go Tampa Bay. I expect them to win. I expect this Atlanta team to be a fade because they're coming out of that late night game. And I'm going to add the over 8 to that spot there, and that's going to be a plus 172 parlay. Plus 172 parlay. Parlay. What we got? You guys are chatty today. I love it. I love seeing it. Skunk Blaster's in the house. Likes the Pirates nerfy. Daddy Beats got the Rays. The skunk bag play of the day is the Mariners money line. Trisha M says KC Cleveland dropped to 5.5 live. Skunk Blaster thinks it's a Nugget smash spot. Celtics first half and first quarter. For Daddy Beats, Steer. Spencer Steer. Over 1.5 total bases at plus 120s in our guy Justin's pocket. He says, Ellie, ribeye, plus 170s in his pocket. Skunk Blaster likes the Celtics and Tampa Bay, also on his card. Redbeard's going to tail Ellie. Well, Ellie, now that I mentioned him, we probably ought to get on him. If we know Justin's on him, and I threw it out there without knowing that. It's kinetic forces, my man. Let's go. Yankees under 8.5. I'm with you, Damon. I don't see the runs in that game. The Braves money line and the Angels plus 1.5. I like this one. Arnada. There's a nice little firecracker over 1.5 bases at plus 130. Lee Mathis can't wait for Saturday. Saturday is so much fun, aren't they? So much fun. There's Ramon Scott. He's running so hot. Sports makes money. That's why we bet sports every single day. I think I missed a spot in there. Tatis Jr. is in the lineup against the Rockies for the Padres, for the Fathers. Blake M. likes the Rockies, though. Tarek B's on Tampa. Stop Gio says Nikita Krylov. Marco Tulio, moneyline plus 100. I like that. I bet you both them dudes could knock the other dudes out, too. You might want to think about a KO parlay in that son of gun. Ron likes a little Yandy Diaz RBI. I love it. See, I knew I'd be okay if I skipped the RBIs here. Not that I skipped them. The couple I wrote down and circled, dudes aren't playing today. I do have Spencer Steer written down, by the way. Willie Adonis. Nick Ahmed. Taylor Ward and Matt Carpenter. And Anthony Rizzo. But I ultimately scratched Anthony Rizzo. So there's a couple for you guys. Consider. I don't know. I didn't look at their prices. I wrote them down and I started looking at the matchups and I wrote them down last night. And then spent about 45 minutes just staring at 2 screens this morning, drinking a cup of coffee, trying to figure it out. But I was listening to the morning steam while I was trying to figure it out. because it's at 9 a.m. And the best way to start your day out there, Ramon Scott, busting it down, giving you the goods on a regular basis. Critical notice. Okay. The Tigers and the Twins. Tigers and the Twins. Let's get to the getting on this one here. The Tigers opened up as minus 102 and have not moved. They've gotten 69% of the bets and 75% of the cash. There is no movement. None. Zero. Zilch. The totals oscillated. Hasn't really moved either, with 98% of the bets and 97% of the cash on the over. Red flag. Olsen and Festa will start this thing off. Olsen comes in with a 5.06 ERA, 1-1 on the season. Festa holding on to that 0-0. Now, I gave this to you guys the other day. The AL Central unders. When the AL Central plays the AL Central unders. Every single game in the Kansas City series went that direction. Doesn't change. Doesn't change. Now, what does change a little bit is the opponent here, obviously, in the Tigers. Kind of a lot of it, actually. Tigers. This is where I talk about some of these regression points, right? They beat the Yankees, who have had ice-cold bats. They beat them 6-2, 5-0, and then lost 4-3. So 5 runs in 3 games for the Yankees, who scored 500 runs in the first 3 games of the season. Did you catch them at the right time? Yeah. Who'd they beat before that? The White Sox. Okay. We know the White Sox are piles of, you know what, duty dung. And the Twins, on the other hand, look, KC, AL Central, and Houston. So we know the AL Central's an under spot. But did you know AL Central divisional favorites, game 1, AL Central versus AL Central, the favorite wins 2-1. 241 wins, 120 losses. And I foreshadowed it by talking about, I think that this Detroit team overachieved at 7-5. And I talked about this game. The Kansas City series was clutch for this Minnesota team, starting off the way they did against Houston and such. And they didn't quite get where they needed to be, but this is a good get-right situation at home. Probably shitty, chilly weather again. We know the situation up there in Minnesota. But I neglected to mention, by the way, I started talking about the weather. In that Tampa Bay game where I'm on that over, that wind is going like 15 miles an hour right down the center. So those are favorable hitting conditions, to say the least. That I forgot to mention that point on as I started talking about the weather here in Minnesota. 56 degrees, balmy in Minneapolis here, but I think a lower scoring game, and I think that these boys have enough here in Minnesota to be able to get to the getting on the other side of things here. And, when you come down to it, you got a guy that's already been busted up in Olsen. I don't think that changes. Not going to count on that changing. I'm going to count on the AL Central trend showing that the home favorite prevails. And we had a little bit of baseball luck to start the season off here, but we're getting a good price tag on another game that probably should go under. I would even think, I had a couple team total overs written down, but no team total unders. But I was thinking about that with Detroit again. Yeah, at any given time, McKinstry can go. Riley Green. There's a bunch of guys in Detroit that are kind of middle tier. And when they do heat up, they heat up. But it doesn't matter to me. They're not going to heat up enough for me to want to get involved with them. Not today. Not this moment here. I'm going to take the Minnesota Twinkies. Minus 112 was the number I got on that one. And let's go to this last baseball parlay. Just real quick. We'll fire through this thing. We'll get her moving. There it is. Give me the Red Sox and give me the Diamondbacks. Do I need to give you much of a reason to fade the White Sox? How about this? If you fade the White Sox game 1 on the run line, the White Sox game 1 run line fade, you're 62-16. The White Sox, that means you're laying 1.5. They got to win by 2. And the teams that are playing the White Sox have won by 2, 62 out of 78 times in game 1 of a series. Well, that's not enough? All right, how about this? The White Sox, when they lose by 3 or more games, when they're stinking, they continue to stink. They're 5-25. They've only won 5 out of 30 games when they lose by 3 or more runs the previous game. So I'm on Boston. And we saw your cousin from Boston. I got to work on it. I keep trying. The more I try it, either the lamer it's going to get or it'll finally click in. I got to figure out the Boston. I can park the car, go into the bar, but I can't seem to figure out how to say your cousin from Boston. Maybe that was closer. I don't know. We'll put the keys back in the car. And when we look at this thing, though, I'm taking this Boston Red Sox side of things after that Toronto series, abysmal. They did figure out a way to cap it off there in that last game of the series, but we know the White Sox are a fade. The color of the Sox that are going to pick this one up are the red ones, not the white ones. Then we're going to look at the other side of things here with Arizona and Game 1 home favorites this season. Game 1 home favorites, 18-3. When Arizona gets hot, they stay hot. When they beat up an NL team by 6 or more runs, they are 61-36 on top of that. Those were 2 of the stronger trends on the card for the day. I thought instead of laying juice in minus 160s or trying the minus ones and getting cute with it, we'll take these big ones that are supposed to win. We'll pack them together. We'll get ourselves a plus 165 on it. We'll couple it with the other parlay and we'll call it a good day. Redbeard. David Festa is ass. He could be. Tonight we'll tell. Sharon likes Ozuna. RBI and home run. Can't be mad at that at all. Should be runs galore in that game. Tarek B did tail Jeff on Donna at plus 104. That'll start later tonight, so we got plenty of time to get that action in. Ramon Scott's breaking the news for us. I saw it literally just as he was typing it. Carl Anthony Towns out tonight versus Cleveland. Peter Gracias says, pretty good Mike accent. Thanks, Steve. I spend a lot of time in Boston. A lot more time than I wanted to. Let me say that. So some of it should pick up, but some of it doesn't. Some of it doesn't transfer. Okay. Let's put the old baseball glove away and lace up these hockey skates and get the mitts on here because it's battle time as they get down to the wire. Pittsburgh and New Jersey, I've got no interest on either side of those 2 games. Tristan Yari, Jake Allen, 7-2. Devils lose to Boston in a spot. Boston, I don't know. We're our friends here, right? I can embarrass myself in front of you guys. It's not any different than it's a little different. I'm not slurring. Not slurring yet, I guess, but I'm not touching that game. Montreal and Ottawa. Strong trend for Ottawa. Strong trend. Let me see if I can find it. Trying to just touch on more games than just the 5, 6, or 8 that I've picked out. So, when we're looking at some of them, they don't make the cut. It's a 129-50 trend. When you're playing your division with a total that's 6 or less, the home team prevails. The home team 129-50, and they win by 1.3 goals a clip. Sam Montalban will start for the Montreal Canadiens, Les Habitants. The Ottawa Senators will go to damn right, Leanis, Allmark. You guys know that? Damn right, Leanis. It's a little Eminem throwback there. 6-game winning streak for the Canadiens. Busted up and taking that final wild card spot. Or should. And their goaltender's been playing phenomenal. 35 of 36 saves, 97.2, 4-1 win over those bag of shit Red Wings. We faded them. We were all over Montreal in that game. Trends do suggest this is a spot to get involved on the Senators. Lots of starts, inconsistent performance, but his last one was pretty sharp. Can't do anything more than stop them all. And that's what he did with a 4-0 win over the Blue Jackets. So, first cut. Ottawa Senators. And mostly because I don't know. Ottawa's going to fuck around and find out in the playoffs, too. They're probably going to end up getting the Maple Leafs and get smacked, but start of the year, I did predict the Maple Leafs to win the Stanley Cup. Let's not forget that. A lot of people laughed at me. Now, you might be still laughing at me here in a couple of weeks, but that's why it's so tough with these futures, right? First and foremost, I don't want to have my money tied up like that for the season, but don't want to own a Toronto position every time they're playing a game that I got to sit out there and go, well, you took them for the full season. Yeah, well, there's 82 games in the season, right? The Red Wings in Tampa Bay, Mrazek and Vasilevsky are the spots that we're looking at here. Unconfirmed, but likely is Mrazek, and a lot of that has to do with not playing the previous game. The Lightning did take that loss to Toronto. Nailed that series. Nailed. The under in Florida. Toronto winning the next game. Crushed it. Now we're going to go to the under in this game here. You're going to the best guy that they've got out there, a former Vezina guy, 36-20-4, 2.16 goals against average, 92.2% save percentage. Might get this guy back into the Vezina Trophy conversation. Yeah, Connor Hellebuck, comes off that shutout last night to the Dallas Stars, 4-0 as well, but this guy's got 6 shutouts under his own right. And he's fresh. Remember, he sat some games early in the season. I say fresh. I mean, he's still, listen. Vasilevsky did let 4 goals up on his last start, though. 4-3. That was that spot against the Maple Leafs. We talked about it. Should have a bounce-back situation in this game here. Sharp respected bettors chimed in, and they are firing away on this under. And it's good enough for me. I concur. We see Detroit just can't execute. And we see Tampa's let their goalie in a bounce-back position, and they should bounce back at home after that loss. Detroit on the road, a road-weary foe. We'll take the under 6 and fire off on that game. We'll move on to the next game. We've got the Sharks and the Oilers. I was just thinking about last night when everybody got to go around the horn and try to pronounce Konstantinov's name. Georgie Romanov, Calvin Pickard for the Sharks and the Oilers. We know it's Calvin Pickard because we talked about Stuart Skinner with his injury, but he should be back on the bench. He'll be on the bench, not on the ice, on the bench. So it's miraculously these guys are all getting ready right for the playoffs. And the Sharks stink. They continue to stink. They're 0-5-2 in their last 7 games. Overtime loss to the Minnesota Wild 8-7 that last game was unbelievable. Romanov, though, did take a loss, but made a lot of saves. 3-2 against the Calgary Flames. Can only do what he's asked to do, and that is stop the puck 29 of 32 times, which was good for almost a 91% save percentage. It's the Sharks. Look. What are you going to do? Now, the Oilers did just come back and beat them St. Louis Blues. We were on the St. Louis Blues. It's disgusting. Connor McDavid comes back in at the last minute. He looks like a fucking superstar, as he is. Like he was never hurt in the first place, and he's just out there flashing and dashing. Slashing my bankroll. And so now here we go. I'm not going to get in the way of Edmonton. Not against San Jose. Although, I think this is a tighter game than suggested here. The big thing for me is when I was looking at the schedule with these two teams, and I guess it's just what it comes down to. Pacific Division. We've talked about this before. The Pac Division on a 6.5. The under reigns true. 22 out of 28 times when the Pacific Division plays another Pacific Division opponent on a 6.5, it goes under by almost a goal. 0.9. We cashed on it the last time. We will cash on it again. Now, there are 7s out there. So I love the 6.5 because I thought, man, the average number is 6.5. They're going under by 0.9. So we got ourselves a 3-2 situation, which puts the Sharks puck line back in play. And some respected bettors that I know jumped in on that Sharks puck line tonight, assuming that Edmonton's, got one eye on the fruit. And I don't know where I was going with that, but I was thinking of Caddyshack. Keep your eye on the fruit. Is Algus here? There he is. Yeah, Algus, DM me, my dude. You and Michael B battled, and he tied you. But you had him in the point breaker, I believe. It was 139 to 149 or something like that was the point differential. And so you were closer. And that is the tiebreaker, my friend. So DM me, definitely. Talk to you, Elgus. Congrats, my man. Good job. Great win. Good bracket, dude. First ever victor of the Sports Money Madness. That's the name I have given it. Trisha M wants you to post more winners. So we're going to ride the under in that Pacific Division situation. That seems like a smart way to approach that game. We're going to look at this one here with a team that just came off of scoring 8 goals in the Minnesota Wild, playing the Calgary Flames. Flames are a mess. They're 5 points behind the Minnesota Wild. They have a game in hand. And here's the key part. They are desperate for a win. When we're this point in the season, you can swap out desperate for, if it's even close, they'll probably pull their goalie and have to keep him out, which means the light and the lamp is going to be at a premium. Gustafsson will start on the Minnesota Wild side of things, 29-18-6, with a 2.57 goals against average and a 91.4% save percentage. Does have himself 5 shutouts. Calgary loses tonight. Minnesota pretty much guaranteed to be in. Not a lot of games have this much on the line. And Gustafsson looked pretty good his last game. 23 of 25 shots were saved. 3-2 win over Dallas, by the way. That Dallas team that's been limping to the finish line, can we say? Gustafsson's had himself a really nice season. And they find a good time to get Marc-Andre Fleury rotated in there. Marc-Andre Fleury's got age on his tires or not a lot of tread left on those tires. And it's kind of his victory tour out there. I think he's probably going to end up retiring at the end of this year, but they've leveraged the 1-2 punch in the appropriate manner out there. It's more like a 1-1-1-2 punch, but that's okay. Calgary points in 4 straight, 2-0-2. The battle is on this evening. They got to win tonight. That's key. It's the most important thing. It's winning. Really? There's earth-shattering news. Here's the deal, though. Fun little spot. If teams combine for 6 or more goals the previous game, the total's less than a 6. The home team's less than a plus 200 dog. The books don't know what number to put on it. 12-2 to the over. Falls and matches identically into the scenario that I just described. 1-1, 2-2. They got to play aggressive. The more aggressive Calgary plays, the more susceptible they are to getting a goal scored on them. 2-2, they got to pull the goalie. I don't think they can afford to go to overtime. They need both points in this game. 5.5 for us with a 12-2 trend to the over. Sign me up. Lock me in. Let's cover 2 NBA games and put a bow on the show. How'd that be? That'd be just fine with me. It's Friday. It's a PFL. It starts at 9 p.m. This NBA card's predominantly mired in shit. We got the Pistons. I'd probably play the Pistons. The lines come down, though, against the Bucks. A lot of heavy betting going on. I was going to say trading. A lot of heavy trading going on earlier with the Bucks. For that line not to move. It just finally did move as we get closer to tip-off. So they're obviously showing some vulnerability. The Hawks and the Sixers. I don't want to lay 11.5 with the road Hawks. And I don't want to put a 240 down there with the Sixers. The Pacers almost lost outright yesterday to Cleveland. It's a low total, and it's Orlando. 219 has dropped to 213.5. This looks like a little bit like an under. Sharp respected bettors bought in on that under. Cleveland and the Knicks. Was everybody playing again now? The second leg of the back-to-back for the Cavs. The Hornets and the Celtics. Sharp respected bettors did buy in on the Celtics. I'm not laying 20 now. They got in at 18.5. I wouldn't have laid 18.5 in the first place. Celtics should smash, nasty Nate. That's what this says. And the Hornets are shit. So this total has moved up 2 points from 212.5 to 214.5. A spot that I almost jumped in on was the Bulls. That's just a lot of points too. This is tough. It's a tough slate. I tell you, I found it incredibly difficult. The Dallas Mavericks laying 11.5 against the Raptors. I'll tell you where I settled. 9 p.m. Grizzlies and Nuggets. As I whirled around this thing here, I saw the lines move from 7.5 now down to 6.5. And you have 52% of the bets and 55% of the cash on the over. You got a total that started at 238.5. It's moved to 244.5. So you got a 6-point movement to the over. And the Grizzlies, of course, just played last night. We watched them, sort of. But we faded their asses. Gave it out to you guys here on the Moneyline minus 122. They were up at halftime. I was able to get, and I gave this out live, the plus 120 halftime Moneyline situation for the Minnesota Timberwolves to come back and win that game outright. They nuked them in the third quarter. They melted down the Grizzlies. Like they just came out flat and couldn't recover. They tried to come make a game of it in the fourth quarter. They ended up losing yesterday by 16 points. They're now on the second leg of a back-to-back. They go to elevation, and they got a Nuggets team that has rest. Now, the Nuggets fired their coach. First game after the coach got fired, we were on them. Laid 4.5 against Sacramento in Sacktown, and we got that win as well. So we've been selective in trying to find these teams that are finding anything that they should play for. And here's the deal. When I talked to you guys about the Denver coach, I said the problem is that the ownership and the players have a different philosophy than what Mike Malone was going out there with. He wanted to be the nitty-gritty, in-your-face, fuck you, do as I say type of guy. And the organization wasn't drafting players in that right. And they also felt disrespected. You got Jokic, Gordon, Porter, Murray. You got a whole squad of dudes out there that don't want to fuck you, do as I say type of coach. They're national champions a year removed. What we saw is after they took that malcontent out of the situation, not only did they fire, they busted him up. How about Jalen Pickett? And this is why I mentioned this in the team and the way that they've built this team. Dude goes off and gets a career high. So now they're getting contribution by yet another element out there. Grizzlies still find themselves in 7th place. But the Timberwolves, a loss by the Grizzlies, a win by the Timberwolves. Those two teams flip. Remember last night it was 1 game separated those two? Timberwolves closed the gap. Now they can take the lead if Memphis finds a way to go down in this one here. And I just don't see how that's not possible. Memphis will end up having to go on the road against Minnesota for the play-in, which is pretty fucking wild considering how tight this thing is kind of wound up here as it comes down to it. So I think that's a big factor out there. Now, Memphis, we talked last night, offensive oriented, 121.7 points a game. And we saw what they did last night when they came out hot in the first half. They shit the bed in the third quarter. They closed it off with points. This is the highest total on the board, so they're expecting points. The problem is they're coming into the buzzsaw. That's a Denver team newly divorced from the coach that was making their lives miserable. And you're standing on the train. You're standing on the tracks and the train is coming through. That's what it comes down to. This is a great spot for me to get involved with Denver. I laid the 6.5 with these guys. I just think these guys closed the season off hot. They ripped the Band-Aid off. They got a new lease on life. They love coming back to the barn, and they're trying to make that way to the playoffs and NBA glory yet again. So I'm going to take these Denver Nuggets. I thought that was a pretty insightful way to approach this thing here. And then there's one game left on the card. It's a late one. It's Golden State against Portland. The Nets and Timberwolves, there's that Nets-Timberwolves spot, man. 21.5. You want like 21.5 points? I'm not. I would take the Nets at 21.5. And I would take the Nets at 21.5, and I would just expect that the Timberwolves aren't winning that game by 22. They're on the second leg of a back-to-back. They look so damn good, though, in that third and fourth quarter. They just had a 15-point run in that third quarter at one point, almost a 20-point run. That's how you cover 21.5. I just don't know if the Nets can let that happen. OKC Thunder and the Jazz, 9 points. The Jazz stink at home. The overs got 234.5. There's been some movement to the over. 90% of the bets, 90% of the cash. I'd consider the over for sure. Spurs and the Suns, pass. Golden State, Portland Trail Blazers, line opened up at 11.5. It's moved 3 points to 14.5, and we're starting to see some 15s out there. 68% of the bets, 71% of the cash are on the Warriors. Totals come down 4 points. 95% of the bets and 93% of the cash are on the over. It's come down from 226.5 to 222.5. What the fuck is going on here? Well, what's going on here is these boys are going to take out the club, and it's whack a baby seal time here, because that's exactly the position Portland finds themselves in. This win one, lose one, win one, lose one shit ain't going to cut it. And it's the awkward, ugly scheduling spot that we look for. You got a decent size, what do they have, 5-6 games on the road? Then they come back home for one game. Then they go back on the road. Now they're back home. This yo-yo nonsense. And they're facing a team in Golden State that's only had one road game in their last 4. They busted up Denver. They did lose to Houston. They crushed the Suns, 133-95. Then they lose by 17, laying a 17.5 spot to the Spurs. Did us a favor, gave us a discount. And now this line's as high as it is because everybody's now been upgraded to probable. Draymond Green, probable. Buddy Hield, probable. We still know Scoot and Jeremy Grant are going to be out for this Trailblazers team. So Scoot's a big deal, man. He's kind of your predominant playmaker. The guy averages 5 assists a game. Robert Williams, 64% shooting, your most effective shooter. He's listed as doubtful tonight. So yeah, everyone should be rolling for the Golden State Warriors. And your key playmakers are out for Portland. We got the correlated line movement. Let me tap this one off for you guys. When I talked about the discount, what does that mean? That means that they lost by that. They lost outright to that Spurs team, right? As a road favorite, at least 8 points. And they didn't win the previous game by double digits. Golden State Warriors find themselves 22-1-1. That goes all the way. That's 7 years of database. When that happens with Golden State, where they sandbagged that last game, you get them at the discount and they do come through. That's the way we'll put the bow on this show. With a strong reminder for you guys to go out there and check out the First Strike video. You don't want to miss out on our contests. They're fun. We're live streaming. We're making money. We're giving things away. And that's what we're going to do here on Saturday. Check the end of First Strike out. Super easy contest. Literally. Super easy. You don't have to know anything about anything. And you can make some money or win some merchandise with us on this side of things here. Ramon's moving to Portland. I would move to Vegas, Ramon, not to Portland. You don't want to be in that cold, man. It's cold. That weather sucks, dude. That's the way it goes. But yeah, check out the end of the video, you guys. Very much appreciate everybody taking the time. Like and comment in this video. Tell me what you're playing. Throw a comment out there. That would help a ton. Literally, if you guys could, if you're playing a play of mine, if you got your own play, when you end this video, just jump in the comment. Put a comment down there on the video, not in this comment, not in the chat, the comment in the video. Tell me what you're playing. Tell me what you're on. Tell me what you're tailing. Tell me how the temperature of where it is that you live. I don't care. Tell us something. We need to continue to boost this thing up. You guys have been doing a great job commenting as it is. We just want to increase it. If everybody can just take the time to do that for us, that would mean an absolute ton here. I appreciate you guys all for being around with us, growing this thing, growing this community. We've come a long way. We got a long way to go. We got some more things. That new show coming out next week. By the way, I forgot to mention, new show coming out next week. Going to be excited to talk about that. Nasty Nate says LFA and PFL. Big night tonight. Lots of things happening in the world of sports. We've got a lot of bets out there, a lot of action, you guys. On behalf of that Sports Money crew, check out my man, Ramon Scott, tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. There's so much out there in content land for you guys here with Sports Money. And that's why we do it. We do it for you guys. We want to continue to increase the brand recognition of sports money. So taking the time to comment would mean an absolute ton. And more comments, more we consider things like going live. So stay tuned, stay posted. Follow us over on the Sports Money Twitter account at Sports Money Wins. I'm your boy Pimp Slap, P-O-D. We got a big Saturday ahead of ourselves, so pace yourselves tonight. Good luck with your bets. Get that cocktail in you, and then get